So Tennessee's assistant football coaches didn't take a pay cut this year. So what? Hi, everybody. I'm Marky Billson, and some really fine reporting by Blake Topmeyer of the Knoxville News Sentinel. During an off week for the Tennessee Volunteers, they were supposed to play the Texas A&M Aggies, but got a bit of a reprieve as the game was postponed to December 12th. What with COVID-19 and such, but nevertheless, the big story came out that before the season began, Tennessee, knowing that they would lose maybe about $40 million worth of revenue, went to their assistant football coaches and said, hey, how about taking a pay cut this year? And only two of them, T. Martin and Jay Graham, said, yeah, we'll do that. Jim Chaney, highest paid offensive coordinator in history at $1.6 million a year, said, no, I'm going to keep my full salary. Thank you very much. And you know what? I defend Chaney on that. Now, maybe some of his play calls or something this year, a 2-4 football season for the Volunteers, are not worthy of being defended. But I do feel that he's worthy of being defended here, and here's why. Sports Business Journal, Jeff Jeffrey, reports that in 2017, a year in which the Vols finished 4-8, they still made $106.7 million. So there's money in the coffer to pay the contracts as they were originally agreed upon. Now, this is sort of an old labor management story. Sounds a lot like, I don't know, the factory, management goes to the union and says, well, you know what, we used to sell a lot to this third world country, but there was a coup there, and so we're not selling there anymore. It's taking a bit of chunk out of our profits. Will you accept less pay? Will you change your lifestyle? Because instead of making a $106.7 million profit, we're going to have to make do with a $60 million profit. And you figure out the broadcasting contracts the Vols have, when you figure out the advertising, all of that good stuff, the boosters, yeah, $40 million hit, you're still well in the black. So why are you asking your coaches to bite the bullet? On top of that, it came at an odd time. Remember when they were asked to bite the bullet, it was at a situation when the Vols were coming off an 8-5 season, a season that they were only a Bryce Thompson suspension away from going 9-4, which would have equaled the victory total of the previous two seasons. So the assistant coaches last season, although I do believe that they were fortunate to capitalize on a weak schedule, and that's what got their record fat, so to speak, still, they won the games they should have, and they were only one play away from equaling their victory total of the previous two seasons. It looked like the Vols were on the right track. That one play, if you've forgotten, at BYU game last year, Bryce Thompson had been suspended. Remember, he said he was going to shoot up the school. I felt he should have been kicked off the team. But he was allowed back, surprisingly, right after the BYU Cougars hit on a 64-yard pass play to Micah Simon with 31 seconds left in the game, and it turned a 3-point Vols lead into a field goal attempt, which was successful for BYU. They went on to win the game 29-26 in overtime. Gotta figure that if Thompson's on the field against Brigham Young in that situation, the odds of Simon breaking free for a 64-yard gain from deep in BYU's own territory, less likely, to say the least. So they probably win that game if Thompson doesn't threaten to shoot up the school. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, T. Martin and Jay Graham, they're legends, they're Vols for life. But also consider this. They are former pro football players, and they know that their future earnings were going to be maximized after their NFL career ended. Let me restate that, because obviously future earnings after the NFL, in other words, they were going to make less money. Let me be grammatically correct here. They were going to make less money after their NFL careers ended pretty much that was assured no matter what they would do. Okay, there's always the ball player that becomes a multimillionaire after his playing career. I'm reminded of John Stallworth, who in his post-playing career made so much money, he actually is now partial owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, that's happened to many football players as well, but it's not the majority. Not by a long shot. And T. Martin and Jay Graham made the majority of their wealth as pro football players. Now, here are the Vols. Basically, the reason why they are such a profitable franchise, let's call it that, is because of the legacy, the memories that they're running on that T. Martin and Jay Graham produced back in the 90s. Now they finally have a chance to repay Martin and Graham for making them into such a profitable enterprise by giving them jobs. And what do? Will you please take less now, please? And I know that fits into the Vol for Life narrative. But you know what? That's a really, really cheap narrative. Save it for the heartstrings of the fans who look at the Tennessee Volunteers through orange-colored glasses. Really, like I said, it is somewhat disloyal to ask the people that made the program, Martin and Graham, to make less right now when, yes, you can't afford to pay them what you originally agreed upon. Now, what's even more disturbing is head coach Jeremy Pruitt, and it goes just another instance where he is absolutely in over his head. A coordinator made a head coach thanks to the Peter principle. In a press conference, when he was asked about the pay cuts his staff was asked to take, he actually said that he didn't know the specifics. That shows a serious disconnect between head coach and his staff. And it really is unacceptable when you consider that Tracy Rocker left the Tennessee Volunteers to become the defensive line coach at South Carolina, in large part because the Gamecocks were going to pay him more. Now Pruitt himself is coaching the defensive line, and he doesn't know the specifics of his bosses asking his staff to take pay cuts? Makes the man sound clueless. As if saying in the statement in the press conference 8 different times didn't make him sound clueless to begin with. Then he spoke of tithing at his church, trying to play up that Bible Belt angle. Yeah, not working. Look, the reason why Tennessee has a more profitable football program than Alabama is in large part due to the fact on what they pay the coaches. Jeremy Pruitt does not make as much as Nick Saban. It would therefore seem the Vols are more interested in turning a profit than becoming an elite football program again. Folks, in my next Tennessee Volunteers video, I'm going to discuss Phil Fulmer and this whole situation. What kind of a job has he done as an athletic director? And is this the guy that you really want selecting football coaches for any college football program? But my next video is going to be about, my current home, Western Pennsylvania. I am going to ask, is it more likely that the Steelers will go undefeated or the Penn State Nittany Lions will go winless? I guess Penn State is Central Pennsylvania. Let's never make that distinction again. Pitt is Western Pennsylvania's team. Penn State is Central Pennsylvania's team. And I am your broadcaster, telling it like it is on the Tennessee Volunteers or sports in general. So I want you to follow me on YouTube and also subscribe to my Medium page. You'll be able to read what you are witnessing and hearing right now. So until next time, keep on the lookout for that question. Is it more likely for the Steelers to go 16-0 and win the Super Bowl, or is it more likely for Penn State to go 0-8? I'll be answering that question in my next video. Until then, so long, everyone.